All right, so we're going to take a look here real quick at how to find a unit rate when given a complex fraction. And a complex fraction, so let's just put this up here. Complex fraction is just a fraction within a fraction. So let's imagine for a moment, and you know what, let's put here to unit rate. So a complex fraction might be, let's say that we traveled 4/5 of a mile in 1/6 of an hour. We want to know how many, so let's put equals a blank here, miles per hour. So this is what creates a unit rate, because anytime, and my students would all laugh because I always use green for this, anytime we can say per hour, this means that we're going to put it over 1. So what this means is we want to figure this out as a unit rate. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a table here. We're going to say that our first part is going to be the number of miles. And we're going to put that over hours. So we're given that we can go 4/5 of a mile in 1/6 of an hour. And by logic, we should be able to say that if we wanted to get to 1 hour, all right, and that's going to be our ultimate goal. I'm going to put over here 1 hour. We want to figure out how many miles that is. So I'm just going to kind of real quick go through a brief scenario. Let's imagine that we wanted to figure out how far we would go in 2/6 of an hour. So to get from 1/6 to 2/6 of an hour, I'm going to need to multiply by 2. And if I multiply by 2 on the bottom, I'm going to multiply by 2 on the top. So that gives me 1/6 times 2 is 2/6, and 4/5 times 2, all right, remember this is like a 2 over 1, is going to be 8/5. And if I wanted to take this a step further, and let's imagine that I wanted to go all the way to 5/6, then I could say that I'm going to multiply this thing by 5. And so I'm going to multiply by 5 on the top. And we would end up with 20 over 5, because 4 times 5 is 20 over 5, which would actually equal 4. So we know that in 5/6 of an hour, we can go 4 miles. But what if I wanted to get to 1 hour? This is where we need to be able to multiply. So we're going to multiply 4/5 by a number to get to here. So what do I multiply 1/6 by to get to 1? Well, we know that if we multiply any fraction by its reciprocal, and by reciprocal, we mean the fraction flipped over. So 1/6 would turn into 6/1. So if I multiply by 6/1 or multiply by 6, that is going to give me 1 hour. So 4/5 times 6 is going to be 24/5, which would also be 4 and 4/5 miles. So we can calculate that this is going to be 4 and 4/5 miles per 1 hour. So this is why we can say 4 and 4/5 mile per hour, because it's 4 and 4/5 over 1 hour. Now, with that being said, there is a simpler way. There is a simpler way. Notice that we multiplied by the reciprocal. So we multiplied by 6/1. When we multiply by the reciprocal, that reminds me of division. So we can also say that we have 4/5 of a mile per 1/6 of an hour. And to find the unit rate, we are going to unit rate, we are going to divide. This is just a division problem. So we can take 4/5 divided by, make that a little bit better, divided by 1/6. And you will remember that when we did our unit on dividing fractions, we use the rule of keep, change, flip. In other words, we're going to keep the first fraction the same and multiply by the reciprocal, which is exactly what we did up here, multiplying by 6/1. When we multiply across the top, 4 times 6 is going to be 24 over 5 times 1, 5, which is 4 and 4/5. And our label is miles per hour. So just a real quick reminder on how we can find a unit rate based on two fractions or a complex fraction.